what do we do right when we've finished collecting data on a survey or a data collection form? I would say that the first step is to export the raw data. Step 1, export raw data from the data collection software as an Excel file. Perfect. The second thing that one should do once they have finished collecting data is and exported that data into Excel, is to save that file to a shared Teams location. The appropriate channel or teams and the folder hierarchy structure is something to consider. So I think the second step is save file to Teams location and rename the file as necessary for clarity. So sometimes when you export a file, it kind of gives it a really long or wonky name. So sometimes you just got to rename it. And then you can open the file and start exploring the data. Now, of course, we don't want to explore and alter the raw data. So the next step I typically do is make a duplicate copy of the raw data sheet into a new sheet and rename that as something like clean data or data for analysis. Okay, you might want to add some more detail to the step 3, open file to explore data. I think we want to be sure that we open the file that we have now saved in Teams using the desktop app button. That way all your versions are saved to the cloud and you're not accidentally using that one in the downloads. But we just want to make sure when we're using Word or Excel in Teams that we're using a Teams file as opposed to saving things locally to your desktop or your computer, because there's no other copy of that file that you're working on. And I've seen tragedies in the past, even from senior leadership, where they've worked for weeks and months on a PowerPoint that they then lost because something happened to their computer and they weren't working from a Teams file. Gotcha. So yeah, that's the point of IT investing all of this money in this Microsoft Cloud product for us to all be able to work on files together and have our version saved so we don't lose any work.
Gotcha.
After we've made our clean data sheet, I think there's another sheet we want to make. Do you remember what we talked about? Put you on the spot here.
Right. After making a clean data sheet.
Yeah, so we've got raw, we got clean. We're going to start to like add colors. Notes. Yeah, notes. There you go. Having a notes sheet is very important for an Excel file because it gives someone who's looking at that an understanding of the different colors that you might use in rows and columns and cells. It will give the IT data staff who are going to try to reproduce your report a good note section to refer to know what you did to go from raw data to clean data for analysis. So if you're removing rows or excluding records from eligibility, adding formulas, adding columns and new data based on maybe like a qualitative analysis, maybe you need to add a themes column. It's just a general notes sheet for other people to use, but also for you to use if you only do this once a year, it's very easy for a user to forget the data analysis steps that they took in the past.
Right, for sure.
Perfect. So we've got our 3 sheets. Now you can do a little housekeeping. I know you like to freeze rows or columns, left align column text, top align cell text, different things like that. I refer to them as housekeeping, but the note sheet could also house your data dictionary whenever you need one. Or you could have a web link there to an established one if it's available online. The intranet. Yeah, so housekeeping, we'll freeze rows and columns, align our text, start to scroll up and down, get familiar with the data that you're looking at. Start to know like which column the first question on the form starts. And then after you've kind of done your basic housekeeping and you're comfortable and you're ready to get started, as you start to go through and do the data analysis steps, as you start to clean, delete, manipulate, filter, sort, add to, recategorize, any of the things that you want to do to the data to get it from clean data to final report, those are things that you would want to detail in the notes section in plain language. They don't have to be super technical, but just enough that would remind you of the steps you took and inform a qualified colleague who would come behind you and try and do the same thing. So I would say document the steps you take to clean the data and add it to the notes sheet. So I can't tell you what exactly you would need to do. Every data set is different, right?
Right.
But as long as you write down what you did, I think that's the best way to approach reporting, data analysis and reporting.